Welcome to Daily Review, your daily dose of literary exploration. We dive into books that spark curiosity and ignite growth. Today, we're jumping into a huge international bestseller, The Courage to be Disliked. It's a book that, honestly, turns some of our most basic beliefs about happiness and freedom completely upside down. So let's just dive right in with a question. One that really gets to the core of why so many of us feel kind of stuck. Do you believe that your past, your childhood, any traumas, your big life experiences, do you think that stuff determines who you are today? Most of us would probably say, yeah, of course. But this book, it argues that's not the real story. You see, a lot of traditional psychology, especially the Freudian stuff we're all familiar with, is pretty much built on this idea that our present is a direct result of our past. We dig around in our history looking for the cause of our unhappiness today. And that, right there, is the first trap we need to talk about.
Okay, so here you've got two totally opposite ways of looking at your life. On one side, you have etiology. That's the study of cause and effect. It's the idea that your past trauma causes your present anxiety. Makes sense, right? But Adlerian psychology, which is what this book is all about, just flips that on its head with something called teleology. This is the study of purpose. It argues that maybe, just maybe, you create the feeling of anxiety to serve a goal you have right now.
All right, let's dig into this first big idea, this massive mental shift. What if our feelings, our behaviors, aren't actually caused by the past? What if they're driven by the goals we have in the present? Getting your head around this is a total game changer.
I mean, we've all been there, right? Something happens out of the blue and bam! We're just flooded with an emotion that feels totally out of our control. The youth in the book gives this exact example. A waiter spills coffee on him, and he says he blew his top. He sees his anger as this automatic, unavoidable reaction. The coffee spill is the cause, the anger is the effect.
But then, the philosopher comes in with this radical reframing. He says, hold on. You didn't just fly into a rage. You got angry so that you could shout. The anger wasn't an uncontrollable reflex. No, it was a tool you created in a split second to achieve a goal. To make that waiter listen to you and submit, right then and there, without a long drawn-out argument. The goal came first. The anger was just the weapon you chose to get there.
And that is the heart of teleology. The idea isn't that we're being pushed around by our past. It's that we are being pulled forward by our present goals. We aren't just these passive victims of our emotions. We are actively manufacturing them, moment to moment, to serve a purpose. And this doesn't just apply to anger. Look at the book's example of a person who's a shut-in. From this teleological view, the process starts with a goal. Maybe the goal is, I don't want to leave the house. And maybe a subconscious part of that is wanting to get attention from worried parents. So, step 2. To achieve that goal, the person creates a tool, the feelings of anxiety and fear. Now, those symptoms feel incredibly real, but they're actually being created to justify the goal of staying inside.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It comes down to this incredible quote from Alfred Adler himself. He says, "No experience is, in and of itself, the cause of our success or failure. It's not about what happened to you. It's about the meaning you decide to give it, right now, to help you achieve your current goals. We are the ones who determine ourselves."
Okay, so if we can get on board with the idea that our past doesn't control us, then what is holding us back right now? This brings us to the book's second huge idea, and it's a really practical tool for finding freedom in our relationships.
Now, this is a really bold claim. I know. All problems? But just think about it for a second. That feeling of not being good enough, worrying about your job, arguments with family, don't they all at their core involve other people? If that's true, then the key to solving our problems is figuring out how to handle those relationships.
So here's the solution, and it's actually super practical. It's all about separating your tasks from other people's tasks. For example, studying for a test, that's your task. How your parents feel about the grade you get, that is their task. Choosing what you want to do with your life, that's your task. Whether or not your boss or your friends approve of that choice, that's their task. Just drawing that simple line is where freedom really begins.
You see, when you're living just to meet what other people expect, you're not living your own life, are you? You're living theirs. When you're constantly trying to please everybody, you end up throwing away the real you.
True freedom starts the moment you stop carrying the weight of everyone else's expectations and judgments.
And that, right there, leads us to the final, and let's be honest, probably the most challenging idea in the whole book. It's the one that gives the book its title. What does it actually take to be truly free and happy?
First things first, we've got to redefine what happiness even is. Adler suggests that real, genuine happiness isn't about being popular or getting praise from others. It's much simpler. It is the feeling that I am of use to someone. It's that deep sense of contribution. But, and this is a big but, getting to this kind of freedom, this kind of happiness, where you contribute on your own terms, not to please other people, well, it requires a very specific kind of courage. There is a price of admission.
So what does that cost?
What's the price we have to be willing to pay to really separate our tasks and live our lives according to our own principles?
And here it is, the big one, the most, maybe controversial takeaway from the entire book. Freedom is being disliked by other people. When you start living freely, when you follow your own path, it's just the fact that some people won't like it. They won't approve. And being disliked isn't a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's the price of freedom. It is proof that you're living your own life.
So now you can really see how all these pieces just click together, right? It creates this perfect logical path. Happiness is a feeling of contribution. But to contribute authentically, in a way that's true to you, you have to be free. And to be free, you have to separate your tasks from what everyone else wants. And to actually do that, you need the courage to be disliked. So, where does that leave us? What's the final message here? It's actually incredibly empowering. It's that someone has to start, and that someone is you. You can't wait for other people to change. You can't wait for them to approve or understand. That's their task. Your task is to start. The power to choose your purpose, to separate your tasks, and to live a free life, it's all in your hands right here, right now. So the only question left is, do you have the courage? Thank you so much for tuning in to Daily Review. We truly appreciate you joining us for your daily dose of literary exploration. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue to share these amazing books with you. If you're enjoying what you hear, please consider taking a moment to subscribe, rate, like, and comment on any of the platforms you're listening from. This really helps support our channel and allows us to get better and bring you even more great content. If today's review sparked your interest and you're ready to dive into a copy of the book, please consider using the link in our description to make your purchase. Not only does it make it easy for you to get your hands on the book, but it also directly supports our channel and the author, allowing us to keep bringing you more great content. Thanks again for being a part of the Daily Review community.